When you first get to this question, you should be immediately drawn to choice C. It has a comma plus a conjunction. Now I know that technically choice D also has a comma plus a conjunction, but notice the order is switched, right? That has the conjunction first and then the comma, right? The conjunction being the word and. So this is very weird. There are not going to be very many cases in English where we would do that. Regardless, if that were the case, the comma there is not working with the conjunction. In choice D, the comma would be there to kind of now insert some new piece of information after the conjunction that we will then return to the main list or whatever is going on in the sentence at the end of that extra clause. So that's complicated. Choice C is not complicated. If we have a comma and a conjunction, there is going to be a sentence before and a sentence after. So we have a very clear test. It could be that it fails the test, but let's at least start with the clear test. So I'm going to start here because whatever happens in that first sentence is not going to affect the second one. So I'm going to say this idea is known as the service recovery paradox. Is that a sentence? Yes. Check. Let's skip the word and because it's not really doing anything except connecting. So we should then start with research suggests that it has important implications for customer loyalty and retention. Is that a sentence? Yes, sounds right. Sounds like I could have started with the word research with a capital letter and then end with a period. So that's what we're testing for. It sounds like a sentence. And that's that, right? We have two sentences. We need to connect them. There's only so many ways you can connect two sentences. The only one that's given to us here is choice C, the comma and the conjunction. Choice A, the comma by itself is not enough. Choice B, you got to do something there. You can't have nothing. And choice D, again, that comma after the conjunction is just weird. It would be like adding an extra clause, but it's not an extra clause, it's a sentence. So it just doesn't make any sense. So hopefully that makes sense to you. This is really why the main strategy for the grammar section is to predict the rule before you start reading the passage, but use the answer choices to tell you what matters, right? Because if we notice that these four choices are not created equal, choice C is much different than the other three, that gives us an immediate thing to think about, to focus on, and then we can go to the passage with an idea in mind, with a task or a test that we are trying to perform. That's much better than just reading this thing and being like, how's it feel? That's too open-ended. You will make mistakes. So this is not a hard question, but that skill is something we're going to use when they get hard as well. Look at the choices first, identify the choices that matter most, and start with those so you have a plan as you go through the question.